The origin of two markings located on JonBenet's neck and back have led to much speculation. The compelling detail is that the two separate markings are said to contain marks that are not the same size and distance apart. This would infer that the same object, or set of objects, made both markings. Those who somehow still believe in the intruder theory claim that the marks are from a stun gun. Unbiased experts agree that a stun gun causing the markings is very unlikely. Let's actually look at the photos of the markings in question. Are the marks actually the same size and distance apart? The markings on JonBenet's back are similar size and just around 3.5 centimeters apart. If a stun gun was used to create the markings on JonBenet's neck, then the markings should be the same distance apart. Here is the neck marking. There seems to be just one large mark. Where is the second mark that should be around 3.5 centimeters from the larger mark? Is it this mark? That is not convincing. There seems to be just one mark, not two. Famed Detective Lou Smit used this photo of a stun gun victim to show the similarities to JonBenet's wound on her neck. There is an obvious problem with this comparison. The photo of the stun gun victim was taken after the victim was buried and exhumed. The body was in early stages of decomposition. To truly compare the stun gun victim's markings to JonBenet's, the original autopsy photo of the stun gun victim should be compared to JonBenet's autopsy photo. Well, here is the photo of the stun gun victim's original autopsy. The markings look nothing like the ones on JonBenet. We at True Crime Oracle are quite sure that if you think they are similar, you need your head checked. Should we give Detective Lou Smit the benefit of the doubt and conclude that he made an honest mistake? But how does a veteran detective make this mistake? 2 words. Confirmation bias. Lou Smit was a member of Team Ramsey from very early in the investigation. Detective Smith's apparent incompetence has misled a large part of the public into actually believing in the stun gun theory. It is quite clear that a stun gun did not make those marks on JonBenet. A stun gun causes an electrical burn wound on the skin. The markings on JonBenet were consistent with something pressing against her, not a burn. Not to mention that the stun gun report would be very loud. Intruders do everything possible to keep quiet. A stun gun would break the silence and would pose unnecessary risk. We have sufficiently shown that the mark on JonBenet's neck is actually not the same as the markings on her back. In other words, Detective Lou Smit's theory that the same item made both marks is just not true. Those who believe Burke made the marks with the toy train track have a slightly better theory. But we at True Crime Oracle believe that the evidence against Burke's involvement is just too great for this to be the case. But if none of these options explains the origin of the markings, this raises the glaring question. What caused the markings on JonBenet? We at True Crime Oracle believe strongly that at some point, the killer placed or attempted to place JonBenet's body in the blue suitcase in this picture. When JonBenet's body was forced into the suitcase, we theorize that being pressed tightly against any contents of the suitcase was the cause of the strange marks on JonBenet. We speculate that perhaps something like a dual-pronged buckle from straps inside the suitcase were pressed hard against her back. The mark on her neck could be from any protruding object in the suitcase. The straps with the buckles may be from the suitcase itself, or from an external source. If this was indeed true, the time it would take for this to make these markings suggests that JonBenet was in the suitcase for at least several minutes. Unfortunately, we at True Crime Oracle have been unable to identify the exact model of Samsonite suitcase that the Ramseys owned. If any viewers know the model number, or by some miracle, somehow own the same model Samsonite suitcase, please leave a comment. If her body was stored somewhere while the killer staged the scene, the markings could otherwise be from JonBenet laying on something for a long amount of time. It could be that simple. What do you think caused the markings?